Wow. I went to the pizza and pub. I think it's called Cookful Pizza Pub. Is that what it's called?
I think it's like pizza and pub.
Pizza and Pub.
Pizza pub.
They had. I've got a pizza that I've still got some left over.
The CPP.
CPP. Is that what it is? Cookful
Yeah,
Pizza Pub?
CPP.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go CPP. The pizza pub that I went to, I got a pizza that is a hamburger pizza.
It's over there by Tetch.
Yeah, it's by Tetch. The thing that they didn't tell me, though, is also on my pizza was marinara. So I got a hamburger.
Yeah, that's usually cheeseburger pizzas come with like a Big Mac style sauce.
So when I got the cheeseburger pizza, I was thinking it might have that tangy sauce on it, and it had marinara sauce on it. So that was the only downfall of that pizza to me. But also the fact that
it had pickles.
It had pickles, it had diced onions, it had mustard, it had ground beef, and it was tasty.
Yeah,
But
I feel like the only mistake was
red sauce.
marinara instead of like special sauce.
Yeah, you should have had some special sauce on there and a light amount of that at that.
John, talk to your boss.
Yeah, just talk to it, tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, you know who you are.
I think that it was tasty, but I thought it wasn't going to be tasty. And here's why I thought it wasn't going to be tasty: because you ever taken a bite of pizza that was fresh out the oven because you're a dumbass?
Yes.
I think everybody has. This wasn't the point to where now my mouth is like peeling off, but it was so hot at the time that the pizza had no taste, and I told my wife I didn't like it. I turned into a 4-year-old child who wasn't getting served chicken nuggets because I just the pain in my mouth. Who was that off of The Simpsons? It's Ralph off The Simpsons, and he is eating these berries that are outside. You know those berries that everybody would see outside, but you know you're not supposed to.
Oh, yeah,
eat?
yeah.
He was eating just handfuls of them.
Also, where did those go? I've not seen any since I've become an adult.
When's the last time you went outside and played in the grass?
Fair.
Yeah, I thought about that exact same thing the other day. I don't went outside as much as I used to. But anyway, it was like Ralph Wiggum. He was eating those berries, and the same thing that happened to him while he was eating those berries, at least flavor-wise, happened to me. Tastes like burning.
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger. But then I waited a minute. Then Marcus was there with me, and it was me and Marcus and Kelsey and
So
and
he
Max.
arrived like a knight in shining armor
He
to
was-
save your day and your mouth.
He was there, and he's like, "Here, just have it. Here, this one's been out a minute. Here, just try a bite of this pepperoni. Pepperoni pizza was one of the better pepperoni pizzas I've had in a long time.
Nice.
So if you haven't gone and had at least a pepperoni,
Was it them thin peps where they get like nice and crispy?
little cuppiness to them?
Yeah, I like a slight gentle cupping.
It was a gentle cupping.
not
It wasn't
like-
like an aggressive like.
Yeah, not like octopus
Like-
sucker style
the
Pizza
ones who
Hut.
use the pepperonis that are the octopus sucker pepperonis. You got to cook those separately before you put them on the pizza.
Yeah, so you can drain them boys.
Because it's like they are nothing but just grease pools, and that's not.
This is not a waffle. I don't want my pizza to be corrugated.
No, and the only thing that they would be good for in that pooling manner is to hold on to the hot honey.
Oh, dude, Mike's Hot Honey.
That is like pizza's
that's-
best friend.
That's like God himself
But it's got to be Mike's hot honey.
come down and looked at me and he said, "Son, I love you
I'm gonna give you a kiss.
and I'm proud of you."
Lips.
And he gives me a gentle kiss on the cheek and a little pat on the head and said, "Go get 'em, sport." And I just know that my day is going to be great after that. That's what Mike's hot honey tastes like.
Yeah,
That feeling.
it's delicious. I think that the Mike's hot honey.
Mike's hot honey tastes like not having dead. That's how good it tastes.
They have an imitation Mike's hot honey at Aldi that's actually pretty good too.
It might actually be made by Mike's.
It might be. I haven't checked into it, but Aldi does this thing to where they just don't put labels on stuff, and they have like different brand label on it.
Yeah,
It's not
they-
mainline brand label, and it's not the same thing that Save-A-Lot does because Save-A-Lot will do that same shit, but you can definitely tell once you get into that box that some bitch is from Save-A-Lot.
Yep.
Like you
Well,
know,
all these contracts different foods with different real name brand companies. Like they've got these, they look like knockoff Belvita cookies. You know, like the thin breakfast boys. They're made by Belvita.
They're
You
all
can tell when you pull it out of that package because it has the same little like branchy thing on it.
I think that if you haven't gone to the Cookville Pizza Pub, you should go there. Get you some Wachos. In case you've never had the Wachos,
What is a Wacho?
it's waffle fry nachos.
Nice.
Loaded waffle fry nachos. They're very tasty.
Nice.
I think that's the reason why I'm so tired. Actually, it's not even just because of the
Grease.
hour. It's because I've had Wachos, I've had a chicken wing, I've had pizza 1 and 2, and then I went back to my pizza once it had cooled down.
Yeah.
Tasty.
Nice.
Very tasty. Might be interesting to have the mac sauce style as opposed to the normal sauce on there,
Mhm.
just to
make it a little different.
maybe some sesame seeds on that crust.
Yeah. I can get behind that. I'll step it down.
Because that toast them up while he's in there.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
would.
saying. Oh boy, because you get a couple of boys that do what we do and do it like we do, and then you get us some flavor options. Golly,
Mhm.
that's the same thing we do with hooligans. Like
Absolutely.
we find things that are good there, and then we
And then
just
we
make them
perfect
better
it.
for us.
We make them just better, not just for us, but better for everyone.
Well, I don't think everybody can enjoy gorgonzola and blue cheese the way that we
They
do.
should.
They also need to know that there is a
There is a limit.
there is a clinically studied amount that a human body can consume
Yes.
within a single setting. And that is going to be one meal. Tiny for short, decided that he was going to consume 3, I believe, 8-ounce cups.
Okay.
No, it wasn't 8-ounce cups.
No. Hold on. You got to roll back a little
I
bit.
don't want to.
I'd done a lot of gardening, and I was like,
As
I
we do.
need some of that funk, uptown funk. So all down there, get my buff wrap, get the gorgs in there, and I was like, hey, I need 3 of the cups of the blue cheese dressing.
And they were like,
And they said, would you like the big one? And I was like, sure. I thought they meant instead of 3 little ones, would you like 1 large one? And I
never
was
knew
like,
large ones were an option.
I didn't either. And I said, that would be lovely.
A single large one is what I'm going to ask
Yeah.
for now.
They also do not charge you for extra sauce. You don't even need to have sauce money. It comes like that.
Yeah.
So I
And
get,
they make their blue cheese with extra blue cheese.
yes. So the meal comes standard with 1. And I needed a couple more for my fries. So the 3 were extra. Now I have 4 of the big ones. The cups were about this tall, which, I'd say about 2 inches tall. They're probably like 2-ounce cups.
That's more than 2 inches.
Guesstimating.
That's more or less. That's like 2.5, 3 inches right there.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know, dude.
It was roughly 3/4 of a bottle of blue cheese dressing that I had gotten, and I consumed all of them but 1 container.
Oh no!
And I got the most violently aggressive poops that I've ever had.
And you knew where it had come from.
Yes,
Your
because
body
you
had-
could smell the blue cheese in it.
Honey, that's too much.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, honey butter.
I was in pain for like
messed up.
24 hours.
By the way, that's something I've been starting to call people just to see if they'll let me get by with it.
Honey butter. I was wondering where that come from, but I was just like, I'm just gonna let it slide.
It's a social experiment. Because people say hun or brother, especially people we know, and I want honey butter to be a damn.
Or that customer that goes, baby.
Oh yeah, she does just do that.
Mm.
I don't know why she does.
I feel like she's got some dom tendencies
Well, if
because
she
of the way she says
if
it.
she does, that's good. But I'd prefer not to be called that name.
I don't
by
know
my
when
wife.
she says it the way she says it.
Well, you're fine. You can have that if you'd like.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all.
Go ahead
I'm
and
just,
get called baby by miscellaneous women that ain't your wife.
I mean, she's not my wife, and I wouldn't step into another man's relationship. However, I kind of like it.
No, I'm saying you can do it. You can get called baby by somebody that's not your wife.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. You see, there's
Well,
this-
she don't mean it like that, but
shit
it's kind of
Shit.
because it's always
like that matters,
it doesn't. But I'm like,
baby.
I know, but I'm like, you need your receipt today, and she's like, no, baby. And I'm like,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I'm like, you don't need to say that to me.
well, and there are some customers.
thank you.
There are some customers that absolutely try to get by with stuff and just to see, because there was this older lady that used to stalk me at my old location I was working at, and she was to the point to where she found out even where I worked out.
Yeah, that's not good.
And she showed up at my gym one day while I was about to go in, and she stopped by, and she was like from up north. She was like Jersey-ish, and she's like, "Are you about to go into the gym?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in gym clothes with a water bottle." And she's like, "Oh, well, I hope you get really sweaty and have a great workout in there."
That's
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. As I swipe my key card and close the door behind me so it latches.
maybe she accidentally found out that you went to that gym.
I came to the gym after leaving the place that I worked.
That doesn't mean she necessarily followed you.
It doesn't mean she didn't follow me.
Like, was she in gym attire? Was she about to gym it up?
No.
Was the gym that you went to in a shopping center style area?
She didn't go to any of the locations. Yeah, I know
that's weird.
There's too much math.
Yeah, is it
to not say this equals 5.
Is it the one that doesn't exist anymore?
Yes.
Okay, I know the place.
That
Yeah,
is-
there's no other reason to really go over there.
Yes.
There wasn't at that time because who went to Kmart?
No, yeah, there was no Kmart, and right next door to it there was the Bargain Hunt.
Yeah.
That was the only things over there. I mean, that was before the Asian market was over there. That's before anything was really over there. There was an American Cellular place where you can go get aftermarket cell phone parts.
Yeah.
But
And cheap cell phones.
yeah, that too. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well,
that happened.
she was just one little piece of that.
I did not have one to break off.
You didn't. I mean, that's
I-
true.
I didn't. I'm sorry. No,
And I'm sure she was well aware of that.
Well, that was years ago. I was a singleman.
Oh, you was a singleman?
Yeah, I was a singleman. This is way
Oh,
back.
well, that's less weird then.
That was way back.
I thought this was like when you was just dating Trudy or something.
This was even.
Oh, so
way-
you
this
could
was
have, you
even
could
before
have, you
that.
could have, you could
No.
have,
No, no,
you could have dug up the
no,
old pea root.
no.
Oh, you want some of this old like fifer root?
We're gonna get into the actual episode after we get through this musical break. We're gonna kick it in right here.
Have the old pea
Yeah.
root.
Oh, gather round, you mates of mine, for tales of nerds and lore. 3 best friends on a podcast line with laughs and chats galore. From comics break to movies grand and games we love to play. We'll sail the seas of fandom land in our own nerdy way. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine. With laughter loud and knowledge fast, nerd it through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine. From D&D to MCU, nerd it through the grapevine. From wizards bold to galaxies far, we dive into each quest. With theories wild and memes that spar, we're surely blessed, no jest. We'll chat of heroes, foes, and plots, and all the trends that shine. With every laugh, we'll tie the knots in our nerdy design. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine. With laughter loud and knowledge fast, nerd it through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine. From D&D to MCU, nerd it through the grapevine.
Hi everyone, I'm Austin Shazam. Don't make the list. Pfeiffer.
I am Abdullah. No, I'm tiny. I've been watching a lot of Colts.
And we are Nerded Through the Grapevine, the podcast where 1.5 best friends gather weekly to talk
Why
about
is it
our
always
favorite
1.5?
favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. We've in the past discussed cults of different varieties upon this show. We've also gotten into talking into some darker Hollywood details and some things that have gone on within Hollywood that we kind of wish had not and would not have gone on. Hell, we even talked about how Milo and Otis had sacrificial animal shit happening in it. Lots of dark things have happened amongst the 240-something episodes of this podcast, and this episode might be one of those for some people. We're going to make sure we do our best to try to maintain a little bit of an entertaining atmosphere about it, because it's not like this is personally like taking an impact on our lives like this,
Exactly.
or anybody that
And-
we're knowing. But this is a lot of stuff that we found out is going on or has allegedly been going on, and it's circulating so much in the news right now that we just kind of have to say something.
And our humor is not meant to belittle the actions. It's to keep our episode from being just dark and dreary.
Because it could be real damn dark and dreary.
Yeah, it absolutely could.
I don't want it to be dark and dreary.
No, I don't either.
I don't even like how dark and dreary that the actual topic is.
Yeah.
But Tiny, you were the one who wanted to talk about it. Why don't you give it a little bit of intro of what it is that we are going to be
Okay,
letting these
so-
folks know about today?
We're going to be talking about like the Diddy case and all the things going on with Hollywood, the recent releases of things in relation to Jeffrey Epstein.
You can't say Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't know.
Yeah, you can definitely say Jeffrey
Yeah.
Epstein.
Well, in relation to that, and possibly even a new cult that I've just discovered.
Well, that's
You know,
perfect.
and how we could be living in the end times.
Oh, good.
Kind of some amalgamation of all that stuff.
I mean, it's not like that the actual Pope is the real Pope anyway.
Well,
According to him.
according to Abdullah Hassan al Sadiq, something.
Please
it's a
get it
real long
right.
name.
Please get it right, and do not put disrespect on that name. We
Yeah.
have those powers have not been confirmed yet or denied.
Okay, hold on. Let me type it in so I can say his whole name.
Because I mean, remember back in the day, whenever we just took the Neuralink lightly, and we said, "Hey, you know, it'd be a good idea to get the Neuralink. Let's give me the Neuralink."
It's Abdullah Hashim Abba al Sadiq. He's an Egyptian American religious
kidding.
leader. He's claiming to be the true pope, and that Leo is the false pope. He calls himself the Mahdi.
As he should.
Yeah,
I mean, he looks just like, and this might be racist, but it might not be at the same time. But similarly, he looks like the dude from The Mummy that goes to fight with Brendan Fraser to fight the Mummy, except without the face tattoos.
I mean, I've not seen the Mummy in a very long time. I'm just going to take your word for it.
I'm going to look it up so you can see a side by side because you got his picture
Okay.
pulled up over there, don't
I
you?
do.
Good, because you can have your camera angle showing that, and I will look up the guy from The Mummy.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll just put it on the screen in the actual YouTube thing, so you don't have to actually turn it around and show them.
I'm just going to show you though.
Yeah.
Just
show
so
me.
you can remember,
All right,
because
sure.
it is worth noting, because every time you send me a picture or you send me like a video of this man, that's all that I can see is this man from The Mummy.
Okay, I can totally see it. Yeah, he's just less gray.
Yeah, it's like him
A
whenever he
little
was in his
bit-
youth.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what it looks like.
Eee. But that's every time that I've seen something about him, like go online or anything else like that. I'm like, what's he doing? Like that's not the guy from The Mummy.
Well,
That's not Odette Fair.
Abdullah, he has a website called themahdireligion.org, or you can say like the Mahdi appeared and it'll route you there. He's got several books, The Mahdi's Manifesto.
Wait, all we got to type
Divine
is the Mighty
Jurisprudence.
appeared. And
Mahdi,
the Mahdi. How do you spell that?
Madhi, or no, Mahdi. Sorry,
Mahdi appeared.
yeah, the Mahdi appeared. That's also the name of his YouTube channel. And so the Pope is supposed to be the predecessor to Saint Peter, because Saint Peter is considered the first Pope because of the Bible verse where Jesus said, upon this rock I will build my church. They took that as Peter. So anyway, what Abdullah is saying, that every prophet or Mahdi was basically appointed by his predecessor.
Yes.
And he's saying that he has the direct appointment from the last one. He said, Muhammad was appointed by Jesus. Muhammad appointed this other person. That other person appointed him. And there's like 14 prophecies that he fulfills that shows that he is the true Mahdi and the true Pope, and that Pope Leo the 14th is not. I will let you all do your own research on that.
I just want to know how he got the math on that, because his math on that probably sounds like Terrence Howard explaining math to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Basically, he says,
if you don't know what that is, you should look up that video, because that made my head hurt.
He basically said, I am, just because I'd said that I was. He's like, here's my proof, but I'm not going to tell you where that proof is from. Now, that might be in his Mahdi's manifesto. You can download it for free. I thought about doing it, but then I also don't want to give my computer some kind of STI that I can't wash out.
But what if it's the opposite of an STI, and all of a sudden your computer's warranty is renewed with the Holy Spirit of the Mahdi?
I doubt it, because here is what gives me pause. Okay. So in the study of eschatology, which is the study of the end times, it talks about that there is going to be someone that arises. They will eventually be known as the Antichrist, and they're going to make a treaty for 7 years of peace in all the Middle East, between Israel and all the Muslim countries. Okay, so his religion combines Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and he is preaching that he wants to bring about peace in amongst all of these people. That sounds like biblical eschatology. So, and in that, because we've already got the red heifer. The red heifers are over there in Israel, which the red heifers are sacrificed to bless the tools to rebuild the temple. And so the temple, the problem with the temple being built again is, well, number one, end times. Number two, it's where the Dome of the Rock is located. That's where the temple is supposed to be rebuilt, which this is the third iteration of that temple.
Okay.
And there was a journalist that asked the people who are there, ready to go with the plans to rebuild and all these things, how long do you think it would take for you to start to finish rebuild the temple? They said 3.5 years. So in the middle of that 7 years of peace, the Antichrist, who brought the peace in amongst all these different peoples, goes to the temple, which would be 3.5 years after the start of it, in the middle of that time of peace, break the treaty and declare himself as God. So,
I mean, he's already declaring himself arbitrarily based off of self-diagnosis that he is the Pope.
Yes.
Which I'm not going to argue with him, because sure, why not?
Yeah,
I'm not Catholic, so you can say whatever. Like, it's not going to offend me, and I'm not going to really argue with you too much about it. But I mean, as far as what I've seen, he's not the Pope.
No.
The Pope is either in the white robe and the pointy hat.
Yes.
And in the Vatican.
Yes.
And not him.
Well, he's saying that Leo is the false Pope because he wasn't appointed by a predecessor. Basically, all of the leaders of all the popes are the false popes. Like, he is the true Pope, according to him.
But popes are elected by the ones who are the head of the spiritual movement to say, you are the one who best represents what can keep us.
But that's the problem. That's the problem. There is also a prophecy made by a completely different person that Pope Leo the 14th could be the Antichrist himself. Is
that because of the final filling of the empty painting chamber area?
No,
like that. Like, once the final pope is painted onto it,
no. There was a prophecy that only a set amount of popes would have happened before You know,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
crazy
And
stuff happens.
like, and there's a painting of each one of them within the Vatican, in a different spot representing each individual pope, and the last spot that is available, period, is for the last pope. There's only X amount that are supposed
See,
to be around.
I didn't know about that. I
Yeah.
didn't. Get
What
to that
you're
point.
saying is also within the architecture within the Vatican.
Yeah. Well, the prediction occurred like way back in, I believe, 12 to 1300s,
Yes.
that we would have a set number of popes.
Yes.
We've reached that number of popes.
Yes, and they no longer have space to put anything
Yes.
else on the walls for popes
Yes.
because they planned for this many and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know about that part. Okay. So
Yes.
I can't speak to that part.
I'm just saying,
Yeah. I understand. I smell what you're
They
stepping
mean
in.
it.
Yeah.
like, this ain't just a maybe thing. They mean it.
Yes. Well, there was another prophecy in the 20s to 30s, somewhere between 1923 and 1928.
I believe
That's in
that's
the
when I
20s.
think that's when the mummy took place.
Maybe. Well, there was a guy that predicted that the final pope would be a pope named Leo, and he'd be from America, and he would be this horrible, no good, dirty, rotten scoundrel that could potentially be the Antichrist and basically usher in the end of days. So we've got two reasons to think that we're in the end times, buddy. Now, I
It
mean,
was in
if we are,
1926.
whatever. If we're not, okay. Yeah, but it was predicted that at this final number of pope, that they would be from America. They would call themselves Leo. They would start off good and then become like one of the worst people in the history of the world, possibly the Antichrist.
Huh. Well, I mean, I'm real desensitized to that word here recently.
I mean, I am too.
I'm real desensitized to Antichrist because I feel like everybody who gets a little bolsterous and loud up in their position above people
Well, there's always somebody slinging
gets-
that word that this
gets-
person's the Antichrist.
gets labeled that,
person's the
like, and
Antichrist.
it gets about dumb hearing Antichrist for some
It
things.
does.
Like Trump's the Antichrist. I don't. He may he, real not. I don't like. Kamala's the
Yeah.
Antichrist. Well, I don't really think that's really what that they're political. I don't think that's got to really.
Right.
It's just like
Well, but see,
it's all like mostly
Oh,
political folks are labeled the
exactly.
Antichrist
Well,
nowadays
and
too.
they're that label's mostly thrown around because, well, I don't like this person. Well,
As
there-
opposed
there
to what
are-
we're talking about
Yeah.
are actual, like, well, actually, if you're looking at it as heads
Yes.
of religious sects, and they're the heads of them, the Vatican especially, like, that is like, to some people, like, the tippity tip of Christianity
Yes.
is the Pope. Like, even some people that aren't Catholic still think, like, like the Pope is right up there next. Like, he can whisper to God. He don't got to talk. He can just whisper.
I mean, I personally think that the Pope is no better than I am. Like, I'm an ordained minister. He's an ordained minister. He just has a really big church that he has to manage. That's what I think.
I would also wager to guess that man's got a pretty good grasp of the book as far as the theology.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he doesn't.
I
don't
would
get me wrong.
never want to battle
No.
a cardinal in theology.
No.
Like, as much as I've liked to have read and
I
studied
mean,
up
would
on
I like
stuff,
to ask them questions? Absolutely, because I want to know, hey,
that
what's
is
up with these Maccabees books that y'all have that I don't have? Because I don't agree with those.
Maccabees books.
Mhm.
Like what?
Well, the Roman Catholic Bible contains a couple of books that the standard Christian Bible doesn't. I
Oh.
don't remember the term for what
And then-
my Bible's called.
And the Gnostic Bible has even more than that.
Exactly. I mean, when you get into the Gnostic Bible and then different things in the Apocrypha, it gets really deep and it gets to be a whole lot.
Well, it also
But-
gets you, because if you dig too deep into that wormhole, you get to thinking, because it gets into the point to where it's less of a structure
Yeah.
and more of just like, this is everything that's ever happened.
Well, I mean,
Here's everything that's ever happened and what could also happen.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that some of the apocryphal texts should have been included and are actual valid scripture. But there's also some stuff that, through looking at it and stuff, that it's just plain old shouldn't be there just because it's contradictory or the dates don't line up. There's things that exclude it from what we consider the Bible.
Yeah.
But in just mainstream Bibles, the Catholic Bible does contain a couple of extra books, First and Second Maccabees.
Is that a real thing?
Yes, it's a real thing.
The Maccabees.
Yes, First Maccabees and Second Maccabees. I can show you. I've got a Catholic Bible in my house.
Spell that for me.
Oh God, I think it's Maccabeas, something like that.
Books of the Maccabees.
Mhm.
Maccabees 1 and 2.
Yep.
Books of the Maccabees. Oh, wow. Okay, it was originally written in Hebrew and it survived the Greek translations.
Yep.
They are canonical with the Catholic Church, and the first 3 books are considered canonical by the Eastern Orthodox Church.
Mhm.
They're also in the Georgian Orthodox Church. The I really can't read that word. Tewahedo biblical canon. I really was about to read Taekwondo, and I kept reading Taekwondo like it was like epitome was on the
Yeah.
page for epitome, and I couldn't stop
Yeah.
reading epitome.
Well, I know it's also in the Ethiopian Bible.
That's crazy. Okay, so and it's just a quick of it. It is. It has to do with the history of the Maccabees, the leaders of the Jewish rebellion against the Seleucid dynasty.
I don't know.
Seleucid is what it's Seleucid dynasty. And that is the dynasty. I'm learning something today. This is
Oh, there you
awesome.
go.
Glad we got a wormhole to learn about.
Yeah.
This is the dynasty from Macedonian Greek. Oh, so that would have been in the time for Alexander the Great. It is from Alexander the Great. Just
All right, well, there you go.
there's the next paragraph. It's
Well, just
I had-
scroll, just a hair.
Slight scroll, verified knowledge. Okay, cool. I dig that. That's a long time ago. I dig that kind of stuff still exists and is still around, because anything that dates back into the time of like Alexander the Great and all of the wealth of knowledge that his conquering quest of the world had from
yeah.
every culture.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, he was not only a conqueror and emperor, that man was a god, because to the Egyptians he was a god,
Yeah.
because he was ordained pharaoh, because he went through a spiritual journey through the desert and found a lost temple that only another pharaoh had found in the past, and they have always got people stationed out in this thing apparently, but it is a lost, undescribed location that you have to get to on your own. And he wandered the desert and found the location, and it was in a record time. Like, it was just one of those things. Like, I
What
love
if-
Alexander the Great stories.
What if we go to the desert?
No. I was just uncomfortable and bitchy at the restaurant tonight because it was a little
Look.
hot in the corner. Okay, I ain't going to the desert. I'll
I'm not
change.
saying we'll go on foot.
How else
if-
are we gonna do deserting?
4-wheel drive truck with air conditioning, or at the very least, windows.
I don't want to be in the desert. Nothing good has ever came of the desert from any movie I've ever seen.
Fine, don't be a god.
Let's see how back the dynasty actually was. The Seleucid dynasty was from the year 141 to 311.
That's
So-
more than 12 years ago.
So that's how far back those books date, which is nuts. That's a very early time. 100 years past the death of
Yep.
Christ. There could have still been people alive that had talked to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
They would have been real damn old,
Mhm.
but they could have still been alive.
Yep.
Wow. Imagine being that person, just sitting around talking. Well, I remember back when Jesus was.
Right?
Well,
I
sure
mean,
you do, Grandpa.
have you ever seen like a graphic representation of the big names from the Bible and their lifespans and how they overlap?
Mm-mm.
So,
It'd be a good thing to watch and actually look into.
like Noah
Uh-huh.
knew Adam.
Yeah.
Like they knew each other.
Yeah, and they lived for a long, long time,
Yes.
because before the flood, it was hundreds of
Yeah.
years.
I mean, could you imagine being able to just like walk down the street, talk to the first man that ever lived, and be like, "Hey, so what was it really like in the garden?"
And then Adam is in his like 1,000 years old at this point or something.
Yeah.
Well, I remember that muscly armed little boys used to come over there and they'd help me pick the
Or it'd be
pick-
like, it was all that damn woman.
I remember it was that.
Stay off my grass, youngin'. But I'm 487 years old.
Stay off my lawn, especially over there at that there fruit tree. Don't go eating that fruit. I remember the last bitch that ate off that fruit tree caused me a whole lot of trouble. You ever seen a flaming sword from an angel? I did. I seen it.
Sorry that Adam sounds like that. He's just really old and doubled over at this point, so I couldn't. He was either that or trying to speak like this.
I feel like it'd be more like that. And like when he stands, his chin rests on his knees. That's how bent his back is.
Oh, there was a man that I saw that was like in his like 120 something years old that over in India that has that posture to where his spine is now like he looks like a compact that
He's a question mark.
he looks like a compact that women carry in their purses to look at check their makeup and stuff. He's kind of built like that. Like,
Yeah, that's sad.
ugh, yeah, he hasn't like looked up in decades.
Yeah. Just like a pig, he can't look up.
You laughed way too hard one episode several years ago whenever you were thinking about that and thinking about how pigs can't look up.
I don't remember that.
I do distinctly.
I talk so much bullcrap.
I do distinctly remember you actually sitting on one episode of the podcast and you were sitting there and you go, pigs can't look up. And you start like chuckling to yourself and you can't stop and you start wheezing and then you can't breathe.
Yeah,
and
it was probably something very situational.
it was very situational, but I loved it. I was here for it.
Well, listen back to all 250 almost episodes and let me know which one it is and give me timestamps.
I don't want to. That's just
Tab,
that's
got a new job.
Tab's got a new job. That's you can do that in between burpees.
Yes.
You can do your burpees and then investigate podcast stuff.
Mhm.
So is that like a newly developed gaining power style culty organization that he's ahead of?
Yes. Yeah, he's got a following. He has what he calls companions. And you'll know they're his companions because they're all dressed exactly the same. All in black with a black beanie and just in a jacket. Like, why are you wearing a black jacket? It can't be that cool all the time where you live.
See, and his is a legitimate like cult because it's based off and around the idea that this said leader of the cult is the head of all religion
Yes.
/ might be God.
Yes.
So very culty just within that. And that's not even find out they might feel that way later on after they taught you how to stretch for a few
No, he
months.
literally like starts every sermon with I am this particular person. And on his YouTube channel there's a playlist that's you can go through that has different proofs and he quotes different things and different prophecies, like he'll raise a black banner and then there's a picture of him waving this black flag that says something on there, not to be confused with Black Flag Podcast Productions, but it's a black flag with like gold Arabic writing on it, and somehow him standing on the balcony waving that fulfilled a prophecy.
That's cool.
You know, and there's
I mean, we said that Screech from Saved by the Bell died, and he really didn't. But then we actually killed him just because we said it.
right.
Does that mean
Maybe we're prophets and we
Maybe-
just don't even know it.
maybe we're prophets, but we can't turn one? Ha 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 ha.
Exactly.
That's a money joke.
But you can he has sermons on his YouTube. He preaches in front of a bust of either himself or somebody else. I don't really know. I've not got a very good look at said bust. And then, you know, there's a lot of chanting of all these people wearing the same clothes and with a fist pump. And then he'll do like question and answer things. So he sits on like a raised platform or in just a room with this chick, like completely like almost on opposite sides in these leather, like old school, like Hugh Hefner style leather chair. And he sits very kind of like rigidy. And his speech is monotone, not in the same way that like Ben Steins is just kind of droning like this. Like he speaks in a very distinct pattern that repeats. It's almost listening to it enough. It almost becomes like a hypnotic kind of just like a
There is actually
kind of thing.
there is an example of that. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up on here, and see, because if it is on here, I would like to play it for everybody, because there is an old.
Well, I mean, we can probably. You'd have to get on YouTube. I don't know if you got that on your thing. Just pull up the thing where he's saying who he is, and just because it's like less than a minute.
Give me a second here. I'm going to try to pull it up for you, because I was going to look up somebody else that had. Oh, I can't. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Oh, this is gross. This is gross. I don't want to. Okay, let me see if I can. Let me see if it's even going to play, because it's going to. Nope. No, it's not. I was trying to let you hear what the FLDS leader that's in prison currently, like what Warren Jeffs.
Oh yeah,
Warren-
he's creepy sounding.
Warren Jeffs has the worst. Like whenever somebody's talking about the Antichrist, like that's somebody that I was halfway convinced for a minute looking through all this stuff, like especially like his abuses and stuff that he did to those young girls and everything too, like trying to teach them how to keep sweet and be the best wives.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh man, how is he?
Well, his thing sometimes it's a very different style of rhetoric with him than with this guy.
Let's see if this is it. Hold on, this is a playlist made by somebody.
A fifth grade joining us today.
Oh God, yep, this is his voice. I'm gonna have to get it onto the Bluetooth real quick.
Yeah.
Because that's
Ooh, we can compare his voice with the other dudes.
yes. Let us do that. Let us do that. Let's see if it'll even connect. Because sometimes Tascam doesn't like to connect to anything that I want it to connect to whenever I'm wanting it to. Thanks for joining us, everyone. If you want a little bit of extra grapes, all you got to do is get onto the TikTok. There's some shorts on there highlighting some of our funnies that we've had along the way. I'm the only one on TikTok a lot of times, just doom scrolling and just carrying on. So that's why it's on my TikTok. So if you want to get on there, look up austin.shazam.phi on TikTok. You'll be able to find all the grape reels on there, as well as getting onto our Patreon for some extra squeeze. For $5 a month, you will have an extended episode that is uncut directly from record button to record button. No shenanigans are left out. If you get on the $10 tier of our Patreon, you get the uncut video as well, along with special videos and special segments that we do just for the $10 tier. Get on there, get all of our extra content, help support the podcast, and we would appreciate it greatly.
That's my peanut butter.
Have you ever been sitting in your car listening to us and you go, I wonder what these two chuckleheads look like while they're, laughing hysterically, or I just really want to see the reaction? Get on YouTube. You can see that there. The video releases every Friday. I mean, it's not uncut like, if you was on a Patreon, but you still get to see. And then if you scroll down to the description, you look there, there's a link that'll take you over to the Discord. We call that the Backyard Bonanza. You can talk to us directly. We're on there live, uncut, uncensored, and irrevocably circumcised.
Yeah, I was too. But now I'm not disappointed anymore, because now I can make everybody else disappointed just by having to listen to this.
Hey.
Hopefully I'm not going to blast them right in their ear holes. Listen to this man's voice.
6th, 7th, 8th grade history. A fifth grade joining us today. First of all, some requirements for the class. I would like all of you taking notes, 6th, 7th, and 8th, to lighten up a bit. I am not requiring a notebook of the stories.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Just his voice is.
It sounds greasy.
It's not a good. Okay, so who's the other one? Body.
Go to the Mahdi has appeared on YouTube. Or actually, I sent you like a video of it.
But it's on my phone.
Okay, just go to the Mahdi has appeared, and just something like, it's the number one of his proofs.
I know nothing of this Mahdi. You see, whenever Tiny was talking about modern day cults, I was unaware that the Mahdi was going to be such a deep little conversation that we were going to have, because I was thinking that he was also going to be talking about the cult of personalities that are going on here in the United States between these Hollywood bigwigs.
Yeah,
and
we
these-
were going to get there too.
Good Lord,
Here we go.
I did some diving into those today.
Found it.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah.
Okay, click it.
Ready.
Do you know where the volume is on it?
Uh,
It should be on the side somewhere. I had it turned down. Yeah, there it is.
I am Abdullah, the first name mentioned of the Mahdis, and I have come forth as the successor of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam and the awaited Yemeni Imam Ahmad al-Hassan alayhi salam. No one in 1400 years has claimed to be Abdullah in the will but me, proving that the will truly is a protection against misguidance, for none can claim to be in the will except for its rightful owner.
All right, now here's some things. That is the bullshit that comes out of the mouth of the man that owns the card shop that told me about Jesus and the origination of the bloodlines. And he's like, that's type A. You know, you got type O blood, and that means the one. Because that means you're related to Jesus.
yeah.
Like-
We'll see. He had the same kind of cadence as the other dude, except almost more authoritative, kind of.
As opposed to trying to be gentle, sweet, and welcoming.
Yes, more like, hey, this is me, and his proof is, I am who I say I am because I'm the one that said it, and the only person that can say it has to be the real one, right?
Yeah. I'm the only person.
Circular reasoning.
I'm the only person in 1400 years that's claimed to be this, so I have to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that how it works?
Maybe. Well, according to him.
Is that how it works?
According to him.
Oh man. I want to try something real quick.
Okay. Do we have time?
Yeah, we do. Hold on. Sorry for that. Sorry, microphone stand. I guess that's why you're a boom
At
mic.
least it wasn't your elbow again.
Yeah, oh my God, I've murdered my elbow twice. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do this because we've only got so much time, but I'm Jesus. It didn't work. It's still water.
Hold on.
It's still water. I can't.
I'm
It
gonna
didn't
try.
work. How about yours? Did I turn yours to wine?
No, but I turned it from sparkling to flat.
That's just because it's been open for too long. Liquid Deaths have a 10-minute fizzy time when they've been opened.
No, it's not fizzy anymore because I made it not fizzy with my mind powers.
Well, I'm the one who said that. Never mind. See, it doesn't work that way. You can't just say that you are something and it works that way.
Hey, this guy did.
No, he's got proof. There's 20 of them. I've seen the videos.
I've watched half of them. I still don't understand the proof.
Hold on, I'm drowning. Oh, I got a little yogurt in my steak tube. So I did some deep diving today whenever I thought we were going to be talking about the cult of personalities that are going on as
Yeah,
well.
we were supposed to get there too.
Because the modern day cults that are in the news circulating the most are the cults of personalities because they do have overlaps, especially like between notable members. Like in the Jeffrey Epstein case,
Yes.
there's been a bunch of stuff come out about Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and a bunch of other public figures like Michael Jackson, Kate Blanchett, Leonardo DiCaprio, Naomi Campbell. There's so many people involved in this stuff, and the lists just aren't making their way to anywhere.
Well,
They're available,
here's
but
the
it's just
thing.
like you got to find out how to find them.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Some things are being slowly leaked out.
Yeah.
The theory is that
After
it
what?
is-
Being edited or being
No.
redacted?
No. Well, see, James O'Keefe is getting information from somewhere. He's not said where. I have theories. Other people have theories. Where the theory is that it's coming straight from the U.S. Attorney General's office. The U.S. Attorney General said that the reason we haven't gotten any of the Epstein files, you can find it on YouTube and things. Out of her mouth, she said that there are thousands of videos that have to be gone through and most of them have children.
So what they're doing on all of these, I'm assuming, is more or less like a federal indictment kind of deal, to
Well-
where they put all of their eggs into one basket after they know they're
Well-
all viable hackers.
Well, they're also not going to release videos of vile things happening to children.
Well, I'm not thinking
know,
that they should release
so
those, but they should
they're-
they should at least be able to say like, oh, by the way, I saw a video of Leonardo DiCaprio.
One would think. But there's also thousands of files in relation to that as well. Well, more is going to be revealed as days go by because the O'Keefe Media Group is going through what they're given so they know what they can release at a time that doesn't give away their source, because some of the information that they're given could lead to somebody doing real time, because we've finally gotten some footage inside of several places on Jeffrey Epstein's island, including his bedroom, the kitchen, and the library, which has very weird notes on the chalkboard.
Damn. And most of this too, like most of the people that are in question, at least as far as like public listings of things go, they're more or less not for what they've been known to do or what they've seen them do, but it's been what has, as far as like made contact. Who was his frequent flyer within his contact
Yes.
list, or was within his flights, as far as like not like, I've seen you go to this island and do this to these children. No, it's I've seen you be on this flight and go to this island, and this is the stuff that happens on this island.
Right.
So
Well-
wrongdoing cannot be proven. You only know that they were going to the destination of the wrongdoing,
Yes. Well, you also
which is just guilty by association.
you also have to look at the time frame, because he didn't acquire his island until 1998. So anybody that was on that plane before then didn't go to the island where all this stuff was happening. That's not to say that there wasn't stuff happening even before that at other places, but the only thing that we know of where things happened allegedly in Minecraft was on this island that he owned.
And Jazane Maxwell was already convicted for all of this stuff.
Yes.
She and I don't think that she's going to be the one taking the only fall for it, but everything that she was accused of has already been proven that she did, and she was convicted for it, and she's going to be at least serving 20 years in prison for facilitating the sexual abuse
Yes.
of those underage
If she
underage
doesn't
girls.
get Epstein herself.
That's also something that happens. I mean, that's something that people have to come out nowadays if they are in risky situations, like politically, they got to come out and say, just because, I mean, and it works on both sides of the aisle. Like if they're in a risky political negotiation and they're about to rock the boat too hard, there's people coming out saying like, by the way, in case you didn't know, I'm not suicidal and I don't feel any kind of way. Nothing
Yep.
is wrong with me. So if something does happen to me, I did not commit suicide. So people are having to come out and do that, because the Jeffrey Epstein suicide thing was a convenient suicide for him. He didn't have to face justice for anything, and also nobody's exposed because he couldn't talk. He couldn't expose anybody. That's the reason why his suicide is so questioned. In case nobody knows that, like
Well,
he had so much dirt on so many people
well,
that
not-
if he
not to
ceased to
mention-
exist, maybe so would the dirt.
Yep. Well, not to mention how many times Bill Clinton had been on his private plane,
Oh yeah.
including while he was president, without the Secret Service there. Because in order to go somewhere without taking the Secret Service, you got to fill out an application for that. And I think it was 3 documented times that he flew on Epstein's plane without Secret Service.
And I think Leonardo DiCaprio pops up in there way too often. And also on the Diddy list.
Yes.
Like, and these are two things involving with several, like, very similar, dark, awful things happening to people. And Leo just be up there. It's like, I don't know. It's like he knows where to find the good produce.
Yep.
And
Well,
It just so happens that the good produce, were laced with drugs, and he's leading you to 'em.
now, have you seen the videos inside the island that's been released?
I have not.
Okay, so
Now I have seen some videos from on the island that people have taken,
yes, because they're
but not from any events.
right. There was a video that came out, I want to say a month or two after his arrest, of two journalists sneaking on the island and running around taking footage.
That's what I saw.
They didn't get inside any of the buildings, but they documented the weird statues around and the weird plastic cows that would get moved.
Yeah, and also
Well-
just that weird synagogue style
It gets weirder.
mosque. That's what it was, like a mosque.
Yeah. It gets weirder now because these videos are inside.
So you get
It's
to know
like
what the
you get to
happenings
see the
were.
kitchen. It's a large kitchen. It's very sterile. Everything's white and stainless. There's a picture of a kid in a sink holding a very phallic shaped object.
That's not good.
Not a clue what the object is, but it's a naked baby holding a phallic object. That's the only decoration in there. The library, there is occult texts laying about that you can see as they scan around the room. There's bizarre statues. There's one, I can't remember if it's in the library or his bedroom, one of a small female child that could be washing themselves, or I'm not going to say. It could very well be taken as either or. And there's other decorations similar dotted around. There are, some normal books like, there was a Bourne book on the shelf, but then there's some physics texts. Then there's books relating to occult magic. There's a whip that's made out of some kind of leather and bone, which that's like whatever. That's like a rich guy thing, right? But then there's a weird set of curly shoes that are very ornate. There's a weird robe that's folded up. And then you get to the bedroom and there's two landline phones with speed dial numbers. One of them is to somebody called Juggly. And some are to lawyers and different people within his businesses. But then there's a Juggly, a Mike, and I think a Donna, just names of people. And there is a picture of a grown man's hand holding a small child's hand in and around the bedroom area. In addition to more weird statues. And an area that's just completely open and empty for no reason. Why would you have such a large open empty space in front of the bed in your bedroom? Probably for some kind of horrible activity, allegedly.
And the problem with these kind of activities is it didn't just happen with the Epstein folks. That's what all the Diddy freak-offs were
Exactly.
involved in too. And you've got names that kind of bounce in with those as well, because that Bill Clinton pops up at the Diddy stuff as well.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with Donald Trump, pops up in the Diddy stuff as well. Same thing with Leonardo DiCaprio popping up in the Diddy stuff. But the thing about DiCaprio is that even his nature with his female partners that he has, they age out.
Yeah.
He has to keep them within a certain age, and they age out, and then he gets rid of them.
Yeah.
I think it's 24, 25. And then they've aged out, and he has to get rid of them.
Yep.
So, just that kind of I'm not saying to each their own is not
Well,
a thing,
And
but that's,
wasn't Paul Walker's name on the list at one point too?
I couldn't.
Because he was dating a minor before he died. People like to forget that he was literally dating a 16-year-old as a 20-something-year-old man.
No,
That's just as gross.
that actually had escaped my purview and had not been mentioned in anything I'd looked up.
Yep.
There've been a lot of people at Epstein's place though that have ended up getting in trouble for those kind of things. Hell, Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey was there.
Oh yeah.
So that's not an entire surprise.
mean,
Oh, and Prince
Jared from
Andrew.
Subway.
Prince Andrew. That shit, all that shit that ended up going on with Prince Andrew. He was actually accused of sexually abusing a woman whenever she was 17.
Oh yeah.
At
There
one
was
of those
a-
places, at one of the parties. I think one of the parties that took place at one of Epstein's New York place, not actually on the island, but just one of his
Yeah.
parties he was having. and he ended up actually settling in court with her. I think like 2022, something like that. And he never admitted any wrongdoing, but still he paid her 12 million pounds.
Yeah, that's
Not dollars,
Yeah,
pounds. It's different. It's
Yeah.
like more dollars.
maybe.
Yeah, it's
I don't
more
know the
dollars.
exchange rate.
Like 12, like 1 point, like
Well, I know
4 something.
14. I know 1 pound in their weight is the same as 1 stone is 14 pounds. So maybe.
No, I'm talking
maybe-
like
Hold on, but maybe a British pound as far as money, 14 American dollars.
it's like $1.4. But close.
14 is in there.
You're close. You're close. Your numbers were there.
I was
Just the
right.
decimal was wrong.
I was right at the same time that I was wrong.
This is the kind of stuff that we've got going on and circulating within the news nowadays. That we've got dark stuff happening all over the place. There's literal end times prophecies from different sources coming about every week at this point. We thought that we had seen it bad enough going through Y2K.
Oh, yeah.
We thought we had seen it going through it bad enough whenever we had
Computers are not going to be able to handle that extra zero on the year. Oh, my God, we're all going to die.
the planes are going to be falling from the
Planes will be
fucking
falling from the
skies. They
sky.
can't because
We won't have electricity.
computers
These
can't.
computers can't handle an extra zero.
Computers can't
Oh,
do
God.
0, 0. Computers can
God.
only do 1990s. Oh.
Even though binary is ones and zeros. Oh,
So we had Y2K,
that kind of hurt my throat.
and then we had 2012, which was the Mayan calendar saying that the world was going to end. So it's like, okay, 2012 was over with, and now we're doing this.
COVID.
COVID about shut everything off. You about turn the light switch off. Now we're going. Now we're here again. We're 5 years post COVID. Well, at least
we also
well, it's
had,
original COVID-19, not what's going around now. Whatever that is.
we had black market THC carts.
Again,
That was an apocalypse.
yep, and again, it's happening all
The
over.
vitamin
again.
E thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's happening all over again. Except this time, it's actual THC products that are being put in there, like THCP, and then the kids are getting a hold of it and not knowing what it is, and they're actually overdosing on it because you can overdose on THCP.
Oh, can you?
Yes.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yes, you can. And now a personal tolerance can be built to it to where you are not going to do that. Say like a person's been using THC products for a long time,
Yeah.
and then they have a natural like buildup of THC, and so therefore THC doesn't hit them as strongly.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine that, but you're a high school student that's not had any buildup, and then almost all of a sudden you're hitting THCP
Yeah, that's real bad.
because they can just go to these places that are like the gas stations, and they sell these products that they have no idea what they are, and they're like, "Oh yes, it's strong."
Most adult consumers don't even know what THCP is.
But we have to give them disclaimers and tell them about
Yeah,
this stuff.
I mean, I'm one that I warn people like, hey, this has got THCP in there. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, as long as
No,
it's within
well, it's
certain
this.
percentages, I'm fine. And I'll tell people like, hey, this has got this amount of it. This got this amount of it. So just expect for this to kick in about
Yep.
40-minute time frame. No, but the kids are going out and they're buying these kind of products from places that are essentially gas stations, and they have no information on them
None.
except for the fact that they're going to get stoned. Let's see how ripped I can
Yeah,
get. And all of a sudden, you've consumed 33 times the potency of THC, and you
No,
are
it's 33%, not 33 times.
no, it's 33 times potency of THC.
Shit, I moved the cameras.
Yeah, that's that's the twice you did it.
Yep.
You moved it forward for the first time. You moved it
Yeah.
back the second.
Well,
But no,
everything that I was saying, it was 33%.
No, it's 33 times more potent than THC.
Let's just look.
Yeah, because you've read
I
wrong.
could be wrong.
Yeah,
I
you've
could be
read wrong. Now HHC is 30% strength wise, but THCP is 30 to 33 times stronger than THC. That's why it causes past psychotropic effects and causes into psychedelic effects.
All I know is for sure I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it whenever it's too high of a concentration. I like it being in a small amount.
Yeah, a little bit's fine.
A small amount as a little sprinkle in the
Okay,
mixture.
You're right. This does say 33 times.
Yes. So you can't technically overdose on THC, but THCP has not been out. It's a research chemical. I would be perfectly fine with THCP being off the market because by all for all intents and purposes, THCP is spice from marijuana.
Yeah.
Like it's you're taking a chemical.
You're taking a very minor part of the plant and then just souping it up.
And
by
you're
basically distilling it.
well, you change the chemical structure into a research chemical, so it's no longer THC plant-based stuff anymore. It's not a helpful thing. It's how screwed up can I get? How messed up can I get? Let me go see the walls breathe.
Yeah.
And these kids are going into the bathroom and blinking their devices, and all of a sudden they're going to the hospital. Actually, I think people have died here in our hometown. Actually,
Wow.
2 high school students
Yeah,
went to the hospital.
I seen that the other day.
And that's what and they haven't come out and say that's what it's over because people are ignorant and don't know anything. But I guarantee you it's THCP, and they didn't know what they were puffing on.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to wait till it gets back from the lab, from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation,
Yep.
so you can find out what this device was.
Well, and the thing is that is going to put pressure on the industry that's already under pressure, and instead of, I just feel like it could actually force the total blanket ban instead of banning this one cannabinoid.
Well, because it's not even a cannabinoid. It's something
Right.
that's been put in there
Yes.
after. I would be fine if we could get down to as natural as possible with these
Yes.
products so we can benefit from the holistic nature of them as opposed to trying to take them and tweak them and turn them into science experiments, because that's just drugs.
Yes.
And it's clear to me that there's not enough care within the system, because if anybody can sell them and anybody can buy them, and neither party along the way is bothered to read about what they're going to be ingesting, it's dangerous.
It is. Yeah.
And I don't like the idea of danger being attached to marijuana.
Exactly.
As we discussed in our previous episode, there's too many good things about it to sit and try to rake it through the mud by ourselves,
Yes.
mind you, in the industry that should be fighting for every way, shape, and form to keep it around, allowing things like that to go unnoticed and allowing that to slip through.
Exactly.
Sorry for that random talking point
I mean,
tangent, but that's something that's
yeah.
kind of been on my mind.
If I was an owner of a hemp company and I produced products that had THCP and this started happening, I would go,
No more.
I'm not making this anymore, because I wouldn't want to release a product that could kill somebody when I'm trying to help people and improve people's lives, and now I'm in fact taking lives.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep at night knowing that I'm continuing to do so.
And even if it's not the kids that are going through this kind of stuff, because these are adult products and made for
I mean,
adult consumption.
we had somebody go to the hospital
That
that
used
was
to
an
be-
adult consenting consumer.
And he used to be an employee
There was a former employee
who had a tolerance.
who had a tolerance. He didn't
hit
listen.
It hit him wrong.
But it hit him wrong, and he ended up going to the hospital for 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, he's perfectly fine now.
But
But
it's almost
yeah.
like food poisoning. He poisoned himself.
yes,
And I would just appreciate that not being attached to the name of the plant.
exactly.
So, yeah, there's my ending tangent to end the episode on.
Yay!
We did it!
We did it.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us. We got through another episode, and so did you. Make sure that you have tuned in to the YouTube to watch the video after you've listened to the audio, because a lot of people don't know that YouTube still exists out there. We're going to have our plugs in the episode to let you know about it anyway, but check it out. I really enjoy getting to have some FaceTime with everybody, even though it's just me talking to my phone.
Exactly.
I'm still here with you. I'm here with you.
Well, I mean, I had one of you viewers/listeners show up and talk to me today at the shop, and it was lovely.
That's a
I
pleasant
always
thing.
enjoy when that happens.
That is a very pleasant thing to sit around and talk to folks about the stuff that we've been nerding out on, because
Yep.
if we can nerd out with folks over what we're nerding out on, and you get to reciprocate that energy back with us, it's a fun time.
It is a fun time.
And that's the way all this stuff even started in the first place. It was just fun conversations that might have been neat to have on recording, and then here it is.
Yep.
And then we have fun conversations with people that weren't in the room with us while we were having our original conversations. Everybody, you have a great rest of the week. I hope that you don't have to deal with any of the culty nonsense, and I hope that once you get into the rabbit hole of the Mahdi, that you don't convert.
Exactly.
And if you do, bring me a pamphlet, because I at least want to read it.
Exactly.
And shove the grapes up your ass!
Shoving this episode up our ass.